I think in these times, it's important to be transparent with the team as to where you're at financially so that they know what to expect.
Hi, I'm Andre Chandra, founder and CEO of Propelo Media. Leaders rise up in challenging times. In today's Ask an Expert series, we're joined by Sebastien Nault, president of Black Tie Property Services, a commercial power washing service in Vancouver and Victoria, Canada. He'll be talking about taking the time to deepen relationships with your clients and also your vendors during economic slowdowns. This is a timeless principle that all of us can learn from. Let's hear it from him.
Sebastien Nault, thank you for joining us today. Now, when we first met, you had the coolest introduction ever. So maybe you can tell the audience who you are and what you do.
Okay, well, I own a company called Black Tie Property Services, and I think the intro you're referring to is I said that we have a crew of Spider-Men hanging all over the city here in Vancouver. So yeah, that's what we do. Basically do rope access, window cleaning, power washing, exterior building maintenance, mostly from ropes. So we have a team of about between 20 and 25 rope access technicians working on maintenance in Vancouver, another 10 working on construction sites. And then we have also a team in Victoria and a smaller team that does ground operations. So basically power washing on the grounds, parkade, any buildings that require maintenance that are 4 stories or lower, that team takes care of that. So basically we do building maintenance on the exterior. We're based in Vancouver. We also have a team in Victoria, British Columbia, and hopefully in the next few years, if we get back to normal, we'll be able to continue with our expansion plans across Canada.
Sure. Yeah. Now, speaking of going back to normal, I'm pretty sure everyone's affected with this pandemic. You guys too in Canada.
Yeah.
Can you share how COVID has impacted you and your business?
Well, lucky enough for us, we've been deemed an essential service, so we're not really affected that much by it. We've been able to continue operations. So what became really important was to protect our team and protect the occupants of the building we work on. So immediately when the crisis started, we communicated with our customers, sent a newsletter, said, hey, we can still work, we can maintain social distance while working. Here are the steps that we're taking. Anybody that has even mild symptoms similar to the flu is sent home for 2 weeks. We had actually four or five workers that had to quarantine themselves during the last few weeks. So, fortunately, we were able to continue working. We saw a slight decrease with our residential clients that didn't want to have contractors in their buildings. So, our sales were down a little bit. The biggest impact was with our hotel clients. So we have large hotel properties that we service here in Vancouver, Sheraton, Marriott, big hotel chains. And obviously those guys are losing millions of dollars because their hotels are empty. So our services were cut. So basically we saw a reduction in revenues of about 20% because of those hotel properties. Other than that, I mean, it's been, that's the biggest impact. Fortunately for us, we were able to maintain our team fairly busy. And because this happened in the spring, it's the season where we usually ramp up and we hire a lot of people in the spring. We're very seasonal. So we basically just scaled back our hiring a little bit in response to the crisis.
Got it. Now, aside from the social distancing protocols that you have to implement really quickly, any other big decisions that you have to make more recently?
Well, I mean, for us, it's, we definitely had to change course a little bit on a few things. My biggest thing that I've been working on for basically the 6 months prior to the crisis was to get some outsourcing happening. We wanted to reduce costs with our bookkeeping, which is an outsourced service that we use based in Canada here, and also with our digital marketing. And I visited companies in the Philippines, and I put plans in place to sort of move these services over there. When the crisis happened, we sort of put things on hold a little bit. As far as the bookkeeping goes, I went to our current supplier. I said, listen, we were planning on actually, because they came to me and said, well, how are you doing with this? Can we do anything to help? So we had a very candid conversation. I said, well, I was actually planning on canceling our services with you and moving this offshore. They were very what I found in this situation is that our local suppliers just rallied and we became a team all of a sudden. They were not a supplier anymore. They became sort of part of our team. Said, listen, what can we do to help? Said, well, we're in a position where we got to save money even more than before. And what happened with both of those conversations with my digital marketing and with my bookkeeping supplier, they both came to the table with offers to reduce fees to help us move forward. And what I'm hoping is that this will actually solidify the relationship and that we can find a way to work together in the long term while we keep, saving a bit of money. I know that some costs will rise after the crisis, but I really, to me, I didn't feel comfortable anymore, sort of taking work and money away from our local economy that's already struggling. When everybody rallied together to try to see how we can make this work, it was sort of a situation where I felt the right move was to stay with our local suppliers and to work together.
Right. But it's great to hear that you can use this time to renegotiate your terms with some of your vendors and maybe solidify the relationship. And I think that the keyword that you mentioned there, and I really like it, is the fact that you want to be partners with them, not just being a vendor to you. So there's that knowing about you and your business.
Exactly. Great. And it's interesting because, I speak with other entrepreneurs and business owners here in Vancouver, and what I keep hearing is, there's two approaches in this time of crisis. Some suppliers just tighten up. It's like no more payment terms, no more leeway, and you got to pay right away, and others are just extending more credit. They're being more understanding, and that may depend on their individual situation. But the attitude of partnership, I think, is what's valued the most in these times, and the opportunity to find suppliers that are willing to do that with you is great. And what I keep hearing is that, after this is over, there are suppliers that are going to stay, and there are others that are just going to be out the door because of the way they treated their customers or their supposed partners during these difficult times. So you're right. I think it's a great opportunity to find good partnerships and to become stronger, have a stronger ecosystem around your business.
Right. So just like in life, you find out who your true partners are in times of crisis.
Yes, exactly.
All right. Now, in terms of post-COVID comeback strategies, what signals are you looking for, and what do you plan on doing first, once we see light at the end of this tunnel?
Yeah, well, like I mentioned, it's like the impact for us is not like disastrous. So we're still operating, but we do have a dip in revenue. So what I'm planning currently is to double down on retention, like customer retention, like our existing clients. What can we do to support them? How can we maybe get more business out of them when this all ends? Because I find that outbound sales is just not happening right now. People don't want to talk about window cleaning or talk about property maintenance, especially like not new clients. Everybody's got a ton on their plate. They're trying to figure out how to manage their workload, work in the new normal, virtually and all that. So starting to call and email people out of the blue is not necessarily good right now. So we're really working hard on retention. So we've sort of moved our business development to focus solely on retention and on customer service and follow-ups versus new customer acquisition. So we're hoping that will help us when we come out to have stronger relationships with our existing customers. And then at that point, when it's time to turn the customer acquisition back on, we'll be ready to do that.
Okay. Can you share with us some of those retention strategies that you find impactful? Is it conversations? Is it discounts, or is it gift giving? What have you? So what have you found to be working, and what do you plan on doing this time around?
Well, for like what we do, we have such a high job turnover. Like we do probably like 12 to 15 projects per week. Typically in a normal cycle, we do the job, send the invoice, go fix up any deficiencies. Now we've taken a staff that usually does outbound sales and now goes back and talks to all those customers. Everybody happy? Anything else we can do? Anything else those buildings would need from us in these times of crisis? Is there anything that you need personally? Having these conversations with our customers and working on the relationship. As far as discounts goes, we've talked to all of our hotel clients because they are the ones suffering the most. They're the ones that have to cancel the contract for the time being. And we've told them that we're open to doing whatever it takes for when they reopen their doors to make sure that they have a presentable building, and if there's anything we can do to help. And that's where we might get into negotiations on reduced costs for them, because their budgets as they were are out the window. So we might look at a reduced schedule, lower prices, stuff like that. And the other thing that we've been doing is we work mostly with property managers. So over the last 4 weeks, every 2 weeks, we've organized lunches to be delivered to their home or office if they're working there. So typically we try to take clients out for lunch once in a while. We organize lunch and learns because they now have to work from home or in a sort of like 1 day a week in the office. We tried to organize lunches for them delivered to their place of work. And we do the deliveries personally. So myself, my operations manager, and our business development rep will go out on the road and go knock on the door and wave at them and deliver their lunch. And I think that's helping foster the relationship and keeping us top of mind.
Right. So even though you can't see them or talk to them, face to face yet, the fact that you're visiting and they see you ringing the doorbell and then waving from afar, that really helps show that, hey, you're committed to their the account, and you want to service it as best as
exactly. Yeah.
All right. Now, is there anything else that I haven't asked that you'd like to share with me?
Well, I think a couple of things. First, like to go back to the comeback strategy, I think the other thing that we have to look at is our staff. We spoke a lot about the client side of things, but on the staffing front, we have a pretty strong management team, and their income can constitute quite a large expense to the company. So if we're down by 20%, there's a chance that some of us will have to make some financial sacrifices just to make sure that we get through the year. If we project a certain level of revenues and all of a sudden we're 20% below, we might be in a lost position. So what I've been working on with one of our partners, with our bookkeeping partner, is creating 3 scenarios, like one where we're 20% down, one where we think we're going to be, and one where we actually grow. And sort of building and this is in progress, so I don't have the full details on that yet, but I want to be fully transparent. And I think in these times it's important to be transparent with the team as to where you're at financially, so that they know what to expect. So we want to have a solid plan where we can say, okay, guys, like if we hit this mark, we're okay. If we're below this mark, this is how we're going to play it. And we might have to take some salary reductions, and also maybe giving a bit of an incentive and allowing these managers to take on a part of the risk, where maybe they take a little bit of a salary reduction up front, but if we end up being profitable, they partake in those profits as well. So we're just building that strategy where we can make sure that everybody fully knows what's happening and what to expect in the future, and be able to track those numbers every week when we need.
Right. Okay, great. So I think we're getting a lot of good advice from you. We're getting a lot of very unique, different perspective, and I really enjoy that. You keep your head positive through this difficult times?
Yeah, I mean, it's been the trip, like really. I think it's the same for everyone. I mean, we're a little over 6 weeks into this now, and you know, the first 2 weeks were really eerie, and I mean, I'm going to speak from the Vancouver perspective, which I think is every city has their unique way of dealing with this, or unique, I don't want to say COVID culture, but like, you know, how they,
Yeah.
how they get through this. We live close to the seawall here in Vancouver, like, and people have been out every day for walks, and, you know, people still get together in the park at a distance. So it hasn't been full lockdown. The first 2 weeks were really eerie, where people were like really scared and didn't know what was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, after 3-4 weeks, you realize, well, you know, the hospitals are not overrun, and we're doing actually well. So, you know, it's been adaptation, but yeah, I think that keeping positive for me, like, it's been about, you know, exercising, going for runs when I could. We bought a stationary bike and using the Peloton app, and my wife and I are just like exercising on that. So that helps, you know, like you start the day with like a good workout, and can't go to the gym anymore, but at least, you know, it allows, for me anyways, like it really allows me to stay positive when I have that good, you know, workout in the morning first thing.
Right. All right. Well, Sebastien, I appreciate you spending some time with me here today, and I wish you the best. I know that there's going to be light at the end of the tunnel. We'll all get through this. So I'd love to hear your story after all of this has happened, and hopefully we can catch up and get an update later.
Definitely. Thanks for the chat, Andre. It was good to see you.
Yeah. All right. Thank you.